The ground itself became the enemy. By the winter of 1349, Europe had no more room for the dead. Graves overflowed, churches refused more burials, and the air thickened with the stench of decay. That's when they began digging the pits, vast, gaping mouths in the soil, wide enough to swallow entire streets. The living dragged their dead wrapped in blankets, laid them side by side, and covered them with quicklime to stop the rot. But the earth could not keep up. The bodies came faster than they could dig. At first, the pits were solemn, blessed with holy water and prayer. But soon, priests stopped coming. The men who dug were no longer gravediggers. They were survivors, desperate, numb to death. They shoveled, with tears drying on their cheeks, whispering apologies to the dead. Sometimes the carts arrived before dawn, filled with bodies still warm, the dying mistaken for corpses. One eyewitness wrote, "Their eyes still moved when the dirt covered them. The plague had erased all dignity. Life and death blurred into one. Children buried parents, and before sunset were buried beside them." In London alone, tens of thousands disappeared beneath the earth, their names never recorded. In Italy, pits were so vast that villagers feared the ground would collapse beneath their feet. And in Paris, they said, the soil itself breathed a foul wind that spread more sickness. People began to believe that the ground had turned cursed, that the moans they heard at night came from below. And maybe, Johnny, they weren't wrong, for even centuries later, when archaeologists uncovered those same pits, they found skeletons tangled together, hands still reaching toward the surface, as if trying to claw their way out. When the plague passed, the pits remained silent scars under cities that rebuilt above them. People planted gardens, built houses, paved markets over the dead, pretending the earth had forgotten. But it hadn't. Every generation that followed lived above unmarked graves. No one spoke of them, but everyone knew where they were, the soft patches of ground where no grass grew, where the soil always seemed to breathe. Centuries later, when builders dug foundations, their shovels struck skulls. Skeletons lay in layers, arms intertwined, bones turned the color of ash. Some still had rosaries tangled in their ribs. Others wore the rusted remains of rings. The archaeologists who uncovered them in London and Italy wrote that it felt like standing inside a mass prayer, whispered from below. Each skeleton told a story of fear, of faith, of surrender. Scientists found plague bacteria still frozen in their teeth, as if the disease itself had been buried alive with them. And yet, what truly haunts isn't the science, it's the silence. Imagine, Johnny, the sound of dirt falling on the last breath of someone who knew they were being buried too soon. Imagine the weight of centuries pressing down, keeping their final cries trapped beneath stone. These plague pits are not relics. They are reminders that civilization itself once came to a standstill, that humanity, for all its strength, once lay helpless beneath the same sky. Today, we walk over their graves unaware, cities humming with life built upon the quiet graves of millions. And sometimes, when the wind blows across those old burial grounds, it carries a faint scent of the past, as if the earth still remembers.